Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
You see, if you think you are oppressed, then you will be oppressed, because the universe will oblige what you think about yourself. But more than what you think about yourself, God will honor what you do.
Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Right in the office. Wait a minute. Oh, he's under arrest. Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest? You place him under arrest. Go ahead, brother. Am I under arrest? Am I? Take your hands off me if I'm not under arrest. Am I under arrest? I'm telling you to take your hands off me. Is he under arrest? Take your hands off me. Oh, I'm telling you to take... How many you got? Just follow me. Second off. What you doing, man?
So if you act on that oppressive thinking, you will reap the rewards of a person oppressed.
The people in this court and the people in the legislature have not been acting like human beings. They put trumped-up charges of conspiracy and felonies on everyone who went in to exercise a constitutional right and said they had no right to bear arms in a public place. The California Penal Code section 12020 through 12027 and also the Second Amendment of the Constitution guarantees the citizen a right to bear arms on public property. And the legislature, I talked to Morford last night, and he said the legislature has made certain rules that are superior to the United States Constitution and also superior to the statutory law of California, and that is that they made a rule that no one could walk on their property with a weapon. I'm saying this is a bold contradiction, and also Morford is alive.
These are the dangers of being black. Because to be black is to be cursed. To be black is to be in bondage.
What are you doing removing people's property without due process of law? If I'm under arrest, I'll come. If I'm not, don't put your hands on me.
Is this the way the racist government works? Don't let a man exercise his constitutional rights?
If my sweater's ripped, you will get...
I'd like to make a statement now with this respect. Statement of the Black Panther Party for self-defense on the Mulford Act now pending before the California legislature. The Black Panther Party for self-defense calls upon the American people in general and the black people in particular to take full note of the racist California legislature, which is now considering legislation aimed at keeping the black people disarmed and powerless at the very same time that racist police agencies throughout the country are intensifying the terror, brutality, murder, and repression of black people. At the same time that the American government is waging a racist war of genocide in Vietnam.
Now I wake up some mornings and believe that I am the greatest thing since sliced bread. I leave out of my door and I don't think for 1 second that I am oppressed, nor do I think that I am inferior to anyone. Nor do I believe the color of my skin determines anything. The only thing the color of my skin has gotten me is compliments.
Concentration camps in which Japanese Americans were interned during World War II are being renovated and expanded. Since America has historically reserved the most barbaric treatment for non-white people, we are forced to conclude that these concentration camps are being prepared for black people who are determined to gain their freedom by any means necessary. The enslavement of black people from the very beginning of this country, the genocide practiced on the American Indians, and the confining of the survivors on reservations, the savage lynching of thousands of black men and women, the dropping of atomic bombs on the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and now the cowardly massacre in Vietnam.
As I've said before, We are not built like this anymore. This is 1967. And look what the Black Panther Party is doing. Now we fast forward to 2021, and the only slogan you all can come up with is, if they were black.
And I saw a group of approximately 4 male Negroes, all carrying weapons of one sort or another, with a smaller group behind them. I stopped them as they came up the front steps of the Capitol, and I was handed a pamphlet by one of the members of the group. They had a group of pamphlets which stated in effect that they were members of the Black Panthers for Defense, and then it contained a group of charges regarding racism, racist legislature, police brutality, the entire inflammatory type of propaganda.
Now, surely in 1967, it was more dangerous for a black person than it is today.
They were, at that time, quiet, menacing with their revolvers, but they didn't do anything that was actually over it. And after reading their pamphlet, I explained to them that they did have a right to bear arms, that as long as they behaved themselves, the state police would protect them, and then they entered the building. I entered the building also and came to the state police office, and there were a group, highly inflamed, demanding that their weapons be returned to them. I then learned from some of the officers that a group had invaded, so to speak, the floor of the assembly, and our officers had removed them from the floor of the assembly, brought them to the state police headquarters here, and as a matter of safety, unloaded the weapons. I then returned the weapon.
Surely America was more racist in 1967 than it is today, because after all, it was so racist that it sparked a civil rights movement. So the fact that we don't have a civil rights movement today proves that to black people, things are better, and that America is not racist like it used to be. I mean, if we're honest, back then, they used to assassinate our leaders. Now, they cut them a check.
Is there any law against carrying a loaded weapon into the assembly chamber, for instance?
No, that is one of the purposes of the Mulford bill, to make a misdemeanor to carry a loaded weapon. In the back of my mind, no. I believe that these people are well trained, that they know what they're doing, they know exactly how far to go. I believe that they were perhaps a little more vehement inside the police office than they might have been outside, because here they knew they were safe, nobody was going to bother them, and I believe it was a well-organized operation.
Same thing. You'd be in the same position. They would be legally entitled to come into the
Basically,
Capitol.
we would be in the same position until they disturbed the peace, or in the event they again committed a misdemeanor, an assault, then they would be arrested for the assault, but not for carrying the weapon. But I'll tell you one thing, I was scared. Anytime a guy comes up with
So the Black Panthers made it to the assembly floor with loaded weapons. None of them got shot, and none of them got arrested. I'll say it again for the people in the back. The Black Panthers made it to the assembly floor with loaded weapons, and none of them got shot, and none of them got arrested. But if they were black, ...